Well, let's just start at his house. You can go up the street and hit every house. Everybody knew Bob.
Hello, good morning, or whatever time of day it is and wherever you are. I'm Bob Ragland, and welcome to Drawing Conclusions. I hope that you've had a chance to do some work and to do some drawing and have some fun drawing.
Bob was an artist to the core, from the day I met him, and to the last time I spoke with him. That was really the connection that brought us together. I think he was the kind of guy that would say something like this: "If I can do it, you can do it."
Boy, if you're going through the dial and you happen to, or pushing buttons on whatever those remotes are you got, and you happen to see this, you're going to say, this guy's really out of his mind, right? Especially when he takes his shoe off. You never saw that done before, I know.
My name is Ed Dwight. I'm a sculptor. I'm located here in Denver, Colorado, and I wasn't an artist when I met Bob. And I had no intention of becoming an artist, but I was fascinated with Bob, what he was doing.
He wasn't trying to get rich, you might say, on selling his art. He wanted everybody to be able to have it. And I can understand, and I hope that they appreciate the fact that they've got it. But just the way that he made sure that his art was affordable.
And Bob had this little miniature following, and I didn't understand why Bob didn't have a bigger following, because he was hanging out with all the big guns in town. But he was Bob was in a special category. His art was selling so much lower in price than all the other artists in town. I mean, these guys are getting some big money for their art, and Bob wasn't. And I used to ask him about that. And he would say, I don't want it. I don't want that, Ed. I don't want to make a lot of money. That's not why I'm doing this. He said, I'm doing this because I love making art, and I'm making people happy with my art. And that's all I want.
He was never saying, hey, do something that you don't really want to do so you can make money. It wasn't that. It was find a way to take whatever it is that you're doing and get it out there so you can make money. Mm-hmm. And support yourself as an artist.
You could sit there and talk to Bob, and in 10 minutes, he would have you draw money out of your pocket if it was to the point where you bought a sketch. There was no reason why you was not able to collect Bob Ragland's work.
He bought his car, paid for his house, and he did everything he did, and he paid for it. He was what he called a non-starving artist.
With Bob, he was one of those myth busters, I guess. He sort of was dispelling the myth of this whole idea of the starving artist.
I think Bob taught us to push ourselves and to push each other. Mm-hmm. And in turn, like that message of like non-starving artist, and whether he influenced us literally or figuratively, I think it in turn influenced him, because as much as he gave, it fueled him right back again. And so he was really prolific.
There used to be a school here. He used to teach down there. He was very free with his knowledge.
We spent our time with Bob educating me about the inside game of art, especially in Colorado.
Things that in art school were not taught, Bob Ragland gave me and distilled down to, very concise, like I said, tenets of what you should do as an artist. First and foremost is you should always have a business card on you.
Something that I'm always going to carry with me is always carry a business card.
Being that guy that would be encouraging to artists, but about your whole entire career, and make sure that you're moving forward. So I think this is very important stuff, especially for artists that are out there trying to, just get going, just saying, hey, you know what, you can do this, and you can do this yourself. Don't wait for someone to discover you. It's nice if they do, but if they don't, hey.
I had a chance to have conversations with Bob and ask him, how do you do this? What do I do? Where do I go? And so just having that opportunity to have a conversation with him was priceless, because he really set aside all the stuff that I was using to block myself as to why I couldn't do it. And one of the greatest things he ever said to me was like, Daryl, do another painting. And I would used to say, how's that going to feed me? Well, you know, do another painting. And believe me, if your heart and soul goes into that, everything will work out. And so that's where he really had an influence on my life when I first began my career, about giving me energy, telling me that anything was possible, that I could go anywhere with it. And unbeknownst to me at the time when he was telling me those things, he was exactly right. My work has taken me all over the world.
He was a true humanitarian. He loved people. He loved anything that he could do in the community that was of a help and aid to anybody and everybody. And he was one of my better friends.
Bob, even in this age of the internet and texting and email and things of that nature, he never gave up on writing letters, which I find kind of cool. So there's no mistake. When I would get like a letter from Bob, you knew it was Bob, because there was crayon, marker, everything you could imagine was on this, on the outside of it.
He would write 150 letters a month. He did so much outreach using the United States Postal Service, and he affected so many people, and he did it in his own way, you know.
He would have some pictures of some sort in them, and then he would have some handwritten stuff in it and everything. And he prints real big. And so it was you didn't have any problems reading any of it.
I'll read this to you. Snail mail don't quit. Use it, get famous. Each one of his letters. Snail mail won't quit. And so he was always encouraging in these things in a different way, but there's something about when people speak to you and even like this handwritten things, handwritten letters that are quite enchanting. I'm keeping a roof, food on the table, and savings, cash, just being in touch. Old school, Bob Ragland. Bob can be misinterpreted. He's intense, so, you might, he was very serious, when he was on an issue, he's very serious about that. But truthfully, I've never come across a Bob bad day. He was always smiling and, and get those Benjamins,
He was always the cheery. He was always matter of fact, I'm the one that had the bad days. I said, man, dude, somebody stole my car. I said, what'd you do about it? Nothing. I said, what do you mean nothing? Did you report to the police? He said, no. Bob? What? He said, man, and he would come up with some crew that, well, maybe the guy needed it more than me. I said, Bob, that's insane, man. And he would come up with, yeah, man, those things happen, man. Yeah, those things happen, Ed. But, but you're too big for that. And so I said to myself, maybe the guy's got a point. But I say, if that guy can get away with being happy guy, damn it, I gotta get in there too, and not worry about things.
There was a library named after him, and I thought that was incredibly fitting that that a library would have been named after Bob. Like, I think he would have been overjoyed to know that the place that he probably loved the most in this world, I think he would have been absolutely thrilled.
So I was part of that committee, and they had to submit names for the library. I saw about 5 people that put in a submission for Bob. So when I saw that, I was just like, okay, nobody else take Bob. I contacted a lot of people for Bob. I told everybody, I'm like, please vote for Bob. And I learned about a week ago that the library was going to be named after Bob. And I was so happy when I heard the news. I texted all my coworkers and I told them, it's finally happening.
He promoted libraries more than the people at the library do. You know, a lot of people say, you can get your education with just a few dollars in fines, and I think that's how he treated it as an institution of learning.
Bob, this is for you. This library is for you.
Bob was like the community mentor, so to speak. So I think what this community, what Denver is missing, is that kind of person. Now we do have some people that, are somewhat like Bob, but there's only one Bob, and he was intense, and he got around. So definitely there's a big hole in Denver.
He's just one of those people that you almost felt like he was just gonna live forever, because he was just so tenacious and so steadfast, and it was hard to kind of wrap your head around a world without Bob.
I'm working really hard, and this is for you, and thank you for showing me everything, but even though you're gone, your legacy is not.
His legacy will live on. I think when, that's all we have when we leave this world. The memories of that person that has passed.
Thank you. Thank you for everything. You changed a lot of lives here, and you still do.
We're getting down to the wire here, so what we will do is wish you good drawing, and hope that you, in this review here, that you'll be able to solve some of your drawing problems. Remember, it's all about drawing conclusions.